All right, so I'm going to show you the process on the giveaway RS. If you're not familiar, go to obsessedgarage.com. You can enter the giveaway to win this freaking thing. It's doing well. I'd love to sell you some more stuff, so I had them create this package. I think we have several other things going up this week as well. We have a really cool knife that's going up from a company called Gerber, which is pretty cool. And I think we have a PSB and NAD, no, PSB power node, Blue Sound power node package going up as well. So P5 power node would be an awesome system for your garage. That's going up, which will count toward entries for the car. Every dollar you spend, get you an entry. And in a few weeks, I'm going to be drawing somebody's name for the RS. It's going to go on to the next person. But today I wanted to show you that the car's been sitting here. Mike was working on the vacuum system a week or so ago. And so we got some drywall dust on there and just general dust from it sitting and me kind of moving it around. Since the giveaway started, the car kind of has to stay here. Like, I don't want to go crash the darn thing and lose all the money. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a waterless wash, and this is the package that these are the things that I think you need to do a. I keep saying waterless, and you say look at the thing here, rinseless. These are the things I think you'd want to do rinseless, and so I had the guys put a package together. 10 pluffles, 3, which is probably a little overkill, but for some of you, you're going to use a lot of water. 3 small drying towels, high pile drying towels, 2 low pile drying towels, the new Solo 260, so this is the new Solo sprayer, a 32-ounce bottle of N914, the Pro Blend, which is the way for us to get our dilution correct, a press-all bottle with a press-all label, 750 milliliters with drying aid, and then a bucket with the rinseless label. Now, I keep my rinseless bucket separate from my other. I keep this up on top of the cabinet, so I have a Gamma Seal, and I keep it up top. I like to keep the Gamma Seal on it so it keeps the dust and stuff out of it, although apparently I didn't clean the bucket out very well last time. I do have a grit guard in there, so it comes with a grit guard, and so we're going to set up to do a quick wipe down of the car. You could use this method even if the car was dirty, but generally speaking, I like to use this when the car is moderately dirty, or I don't want to go out and it's a freaking billion degrees outside, so I want to try to avoid going out there in the sun and humidity. So we're going to do a quick wipe down and show you the process. I've shown you this a bunch before, but I think it's always good to refresh. I'm not going to address the wheels. The wheels are not dirty, but I guess we would technically do the same process. This is part of the reason why I don't like to do waterless or rinseless washes, because dealing with the wheels is really clunky. It gets really nasty, really dirty, so I prefer not to do that. So let's set up our Solo sprayer here. So I got a liter of water, and so the dilution would be, let's see, so if I want to do, technically speaking, if you look at the back of the thing, if you were doing a rinseless wash, you'd want to do 256 to 1. I prefer to do it 128 to 1, which is the waterless wash version. Because we're going to wipe the surface clean, I'd love to have the extra surfactant in here to hopefully lubricate or to encapsulate the dirt and dust and things like that. I like N914 the best. I don't want it to leave anything behind. We'll do that with our drying aid when we're drying the car, but this is the normal process that I would use to kind of work through this. So in 1 liter of water, we would basically take 1,000 divided by, no, I'm sorry, let's see, how will we do this? 128 divided by 1,000. No, that's not right. 1,000 divided by 128. Yeah, just take 1,000 milliliters divided by 128, and we get 7.8. Now I've got a little over a liter here, so I'm going to do 8 milliliters of product, which is not a lot, and so this kind of sits at around 10. So what you do with the Pro Blend is you just twist it to move the red dial up and down. So I'm going to put about 8 milliliters here. I'm going to dump that into my water, and that's all you need. Just a tiny little bit of surfactant. Now we're going to use this as our pre-soak, and so that's why I like to go a little bit heavier dilution. 1 to 256 is what it would call for. I think the reason that you'd go 1 to 256 would be or 256 to 1 would be if we're going to let it dry on its own. That's normally rinseless. The conventional rinseless process would be to simply put it on there and just let it evaporate dry. Now in our bucket, I'm going to put 2 gallons. And so if we were to do 2 gallons, that's what, 256 fluid ounces. So 256. So we'll divide 256 by 128, so we'd get 2 ounces. So I need 2 ounces, roughly. Again, this doesn't have to be super duper exact. So I'm gonna fill this up to 2. Oops, I gotta actually twist my, turn the top, not the bottom. I don't know why I was doing that. So I'm gonna put 2 ounces in here. So technically, we'd be putting 2 ounces of product and 254 ounces of water, but we're gonna kind of eyeball this. So I like to make about 2 gallons. And so I'm taking my N914. And just remember, 1 ounce per gallon for a rinseless. Actually, I guess technically it would be 1 ounce for 2 gallons. I like to run it at a 128 dilution. I don't know. So I'm doing so technically it would be a half an ounce per gallon. I'm doing 1 ounce per gallon because I want to run it as a what they would call waterless. So I've got a waterless dilution. Probably not, probably doesn't make that much of a difference. But again, because I'm not going to let it dry, I'm going to actually wipe it. Then I think you can do it this way. So then I'm going to take a couple of pluffles. We'll start with 3, throw it in the bucket here. I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to move my toolbox out of the way, and we're going to set up and put some water in our bucket. Okay, got my 2 gallons of water. Got water all over the freaking wall somehow. Somebody's messing with my darn bucket filler. I always keep it at the same spot. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is, so the car, I don't know if you can see this, but there's a nice layer of dust on it. So it's kind of got a little dusty film to it that we want to get off. So I've set up my pre-soak, and then I like this solo sprayer for this so I don't have to keep pulling the trigger. I can do a larger area. So on the solo sprayer, I'm going to set my atomization up. So I think this is more important for me today because I've got drywall dust on here, which is pretty abrasive. Not a lot, but just a little film of dust. And I guess technically you could go and do the whole car. But because I measured this a little bit more concentrated at 128 to 1, I like to do the car in sections. So I'm going to do the top of the car. So all these top pieces here, and then we'll split the car up into quarters on the sides. This thing is awesome. So the run time on this is rated at 60 minutes. And I just use this, we'll see if I run out of battery. But I use this thing on to decon the Evo, and I'm still rolling. I didn't charge it. So what I'll do in the bucket, so take the towel out of the bucket, and learn this from Ivan LaCroix. You wring it out, but not completely, just partially. And I'm going to fold the towel in eighths. So this is the pluffle. Hold the towel in eighths like this. Now, if your car was really dirty, so if it was dirtier than mine is, you would want to do this. That, flip, this, flip, and you'd want to be really, really careful. Now, this car has paint protection film. It has a coating on it. It is really, really slick. The car isn't super, super dusty and dirty right now. So I'll have a tendency to do a small section and then flip. You just want to use your better judgment here. If the car is really, really dirty, then you're going to want to use all 10 of those towels. In my case, the car is, I'd say, medium dirty, so I'm not too concerned about flipping the towel as much. All right, I don't use detail sprays, I use this. So if I was doing some spot cleaning or just a little spot cleanup, I may just use, instead of using the bucket and the wet towel, I may use a dry towel, and I may just use the solo sprayer, hit it with my 128:1 solution, and do it that way. So this is where I'm going to use drying aid as my drying aid lubrication. I'm going to hit the surface like this. I could probably really hustle and get around the car, but again, at 128:1, you will see not water spots, because this will neutralize your pH. So I'm not going to get water spots, but it's not going to look good. I'm going to get some streaking and stuff like that. So if you wanted to do things a little quicker, I might suggest setting your dilution up at 256:1, because then you could just let the darn, you could let N914 just dry on the surface if you wanted to. It would be essentially spot free. It would help you even more if you used like a deionized water or distilled water or something like that. This water I have here is 300 parts per million, so it's medium-ish in hardness. Got quite a bit of calcium in the water here at HQ. So I prefer to do it this way. I don't know why. I tend to put this off. It's so easy and really satisfying. I don't know why I tend to procrastinate on this at times. Just keep the darn car clean. Do this once a week or so, even when the car's sitting here in the garage. What I should have done is brought my darn, I have a 991 car cover. I should have just brought it over here and put it on the car, but we're going to shoot a video on this here. I have to finish the telling my Dundon exhaust story, so I wanted to wipe it down. Plus, we get lots of you come and visit. It's nice to have clean cars. It makes me feel good. So I still want to use some care, because although I did lift a large percentage of the dirt in my, using my pluffle, using my towel. And again, if you had a dirty surface, you would have used a whole lot more towels. Right, so this top section, if the car was really dirty, I probably would have used 3 towels, folded in eighths, and worked my way through the top of the car. But there's still dirt on the surface of the paint that I have to now wipe off, because I'm not rinsing. I'm not like grabbing my pressure washer and rinsing it off. So I want you to keep that in mind as you're thinking about doing this. And everybody tells you you're not going to scratch the surface. You want to take care in all steps, all phases of it. So now we'll do the whole front clip. Pre-soak it. The other thing I may do as well, if this was dirty, I would probably soak it down to where the water starts running off like this. So I would use more product. So again, just using your judgment, use your best judgment. The dirtier the surface, the more you think there's something on there that could scratch, the more care you want to take, the more towels you want to use, the more product you want to use. You can't use too much of this. It's cheap. That 32-ounce bottle there is like the first one I ever gotten. I still have it. I mean, if you did this kind of washing exclusively, you'd probably run through a bottle, I don't know, once a year. Twice, you've got a gallon once a year at the most. So use it up. Can't hurt. So use your judgment. I feel like that was a good enough area. There is a little bit of dust, drywall dust on here. So I want to be careful not to do too big of an area per flip of the towel. But I'm using my best judgment here, knowing that I can get away with flipping the towel a little less because the car hasn't been driven and I don't have a lot of sand and road stuff on here, or any really. Hasn't gone anywhere. So this method, I'm just kind of pushing stuff around, whereas if I were to do this where I lift the dirt and then I flip the towel and I kind of take the towel and I pull, try to lift as much dirt as possible. If the car was super dirty, I would encourage you to consider that. Use tons and tons of towels. Hit it with some drying aid. So theoretically, this would add a little bit of extra lubrication, gives me a nice little topper. And this towel should still be good. In this current state, I could probably roll with this one towel and the whole thing. So remember, washing these towels, this drying aid is going to put quite a bit of stress on the towel's fibers, in that we're sort of picking up and coating it with a bunch of silicon dioxide. So you're going to want to make sure that you're cleaning the towel with the right kind of solution. So the Rags to Riches detergent is what you want. Otherwise, these towels are going to last months instead of potentially years. I mean, this one towel here is like, I don't know, $6 or $8 or something like that. These are like $5 a piece. So you can feel confident buying them and using them for a long time, but you've got to maintain them. Otherwise, you're going to be spending lots of money on towels that don't last very long. Could you imagine winning this darn thing? Yes, this is going to be crazy. I'm kind of excited to, I'm really excited to draw somebody's name out of the hat here in a few weeks. I've covered the cost of the car. So now I'm trying to cover the cost of all the humans that had to do all the work to make this giveaway work. And then hopefully at the end of this, I can make a few bucks. That would be nice. Let's do this side. So obviously, if the car had been driven, this part of the car would be really dirty. Gosh, this thing is awesome. For certain applications, I like this, if you will, battery powered. So watch me wring it out. So I'm just kind of squeezing it, let's say about 60% squeeze, not a full squeeze. So you could see if you really hustled, you could really do the whole car. Or if you just went with the rinseless dilution, you can knock out the entire car in one shot. The thing I don't like about this process is all the wheels, the door jam, like all the, like I don't need to do the jams and stuff because this is just surface level dust. But I think I just don't like how much dirtier it is than normal washing. I'm also not using a whole ton of drying aid because the car is not, it still has the layer of drying aid on it from when I washed it last. And it hasn't gone out in the rain or elements or anything like that. So I would do door jambs, try to get up, you know, surface level, the wheel wells and the gas behind the gas cap and all that. Had it not just been a sort of a detail-like wash here. But I'm telling you, this is a much, much better system to do this than it would be to just grab like a Griot's Garage Speed Shine and go to town. This is a way, way more safe, not more safe, a safer method from a scratching perspective. In fact, in many ways, this is safer than a soap and water wash. So, and it's the chemical, it's the surfactant in this waterless product, rinseless product. So think about it. If there's a dust or dirt particle, the product, when it goes on the surface, it forms a bubble around that piece of sand or piece of dirt. So it encapsulates it, sucks it into its hole, and surrounds it. And then you're able to safely, using this towel, lift it up, grab it, and take it off the surface without it rolling and you know, rolling across the clear coat and scratching the surface. That's why it works. I thought I would just do a section with you. This is so darn easy. I'll just knock out the whole darn car. So I've used a good 3/4 of a liter, so I am using with the motorized or the battery powered sprayer. I am using quite a bit more product. So ditch your detail sprays, I'm telling you guys, especially if you're new here and you're new to high-end car care, proper car care. Get rid of your detail sprays. If I was going to a Cars and Coffee or something like that, I knew I was going to drive there, that's where this bucket, that's where this package would be perfect. You put this in your trunk. I'd bring some glass cleaner along with me as well. But you'd put 2 gallons, put the Gamma seal up the bucket, bring your pre-wash or pre-soak, especially if you got a bunch of bugs and stuff. If your car is nicely coated, then there shouldn't be any reason why you couldn't do this process. You don't need any special bug removers or anything like that. It should wipe right off. It will wipe right off. If you have something like this, this car has G-Technic. First of all, it has Expel, PPF. I polished it, corrected it. Uh-oh, did my straw fall? Figures, shoot. If your sprayer ever stops spraying, there's a chance that you knock the straw off, especially as slick as this stuff is. All right, maybe I just didn't push it on hard enough. This is a brand new bottle. Yeah, so your travel bucket should include a bunch of pluffles. If you're going on a long trip, you know, 20 of them or so. Several of these drying towels, these large drying towels, some drying aid, glass cleaner, N914, and then you're good to clean all the surfaces safely. When everybody else is wiping their entire car down with a bottle of Mother's detail spray and a in a single towel, you're actually washing your car appropriately and not scratching the crap out of it. Then maybe you can teach them to go watch Uncle Matty's videos. Say, hey, you guys need to upgrade your game here because your car is jacked up. All I have to do is the back section and we're done. The rinseless part, pre-soak. Now the back and lowers are always going to be the worst part. I have to get off my stool. One more towel. So I used five of the 10. I didn't revisit the bucket. So what I'm gonna do, I'll show you in a minute. I'm gonna refill my rinseless bottle with the product from the bucket. And what you could do is you could fill up gallons. Just have pre-mixed gallons of the product. I don't usually do that, but you could certainly do that. I'm going to take this towel and just because I moved the car in and out the other day, I'm just going to do a quick little wipe of the tire. All four of them. I wouldn't suggest this. Messing up your pluffles. I have an infinite supply of them, so. But you'll be surprised, they'll wash out really well. Finish the job. Nice. This makes me feel good doing this kind of stuff. Makes me feel accomplished. I'm actually leaving for Helen tomorrow morning. This has been on the agenda all week. I've been playing with the Evo, so I've been procrastinating on this. Stayed late tonight so I can get this done. Make the car look pretty. And now it's prepped for my Dundon documentary I'm gonna make, telling the story of my Dundon exhaust. Glad I waited to do the Dundon exhaust because the one for my touring is showing up in a couple of days, so I'll have it in the background. Nice. The other thing you can do if you want to keep it from foaming, fill the bucket up with water first and then put the product in. So I used 5 pluffles, 2 small drying or low pile or high pile drying towels, 2 low pile drying towels, and I still have 5 and then 1 of each left over there. We used 2 ounces and like 2.1 ounces of N914. We used our bucket. I could keep this. I could just put the Gamma Seal on there and keep this. I like to just discard it and start over. I keep this on the top of my cabinet because I don't do a ton of waterless washing. But if you're doing this and you're waterless washing all the time, you have a couple of cars, just put the top back on here, and when you're ready to do another car, unscrew it and go at it. But yeah, this package is a qualifying package for the giveaway for the GT3 RS. If you're interested in winning it, go buy one and we'll ship it out to you, and use this process to help eradicate the world from detail sprays. And then you have a myriad of uses for this, whether you're traveling, you're going to a car show, you're going to Cars and Coffee, it's too cold out, it's too hot out, whatever the circumstances are. You have a spot you want to treat. Having this is a much, much better solution than just wiping the car down with some sort of detail spray product. So thanks for watching, thanks for your support, and I'll see you on the next detailing video. See you soon.